Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Wendy, and I'm your intern minister, and today I am also your worship associate, and I am thrilled to be joined by Sloan, Jackson, Emma, Chance, and the Reverend Judy Tomlinson for our special youth-led service. I am also joined by Jacob Swetland, our Director of Music Ministries, and our accompanist Julian. And Reverend Sean is in the building today, but she will be returning to the pulpit next week. So you can look forward to that. Today we will be honoring Memorial Day, and we will conclude our service with our annual flower communion. Zoomers, if you have a flower background or a flower near you that you would like to put close to your screen, please feel welcome to do that. And good morning. We would also like to recognize the many volunteers that put our service together. It takes a village, it truly does, and we respectfully recognize that our church property rests on the Ahachiman and Tongva land. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many different beliefs, but we are one loving community. We're bound together not by a common set of rules or beliefs, but rather a covenant. A covenant is simply a promise that whatever our beliefs, we accept one another and encourage each other in spiritual growth. We do this without some of the controversies and conflicts that can sometimes divide us. We affirm that all life has inherent value and that everything of all existence is interconnected. We strive for justice and compassion in all our deeds and relationships. And for roomers, now is the time when we invite you to turn off your cell phones. And for Zoomers, now is the time that we invite you to say hello to each other in the chat. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors. If you are a visitor here today and looking for a spiritual home, we really hope that you will find it here. And now I would like to invite Sloan up to light our chalice today and lead us in our chalice lighting. Thank you, Sloan.
Let our worship begin with the lighting of our chalice as we say our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. This we affirm together.
Please rise, embody your spirit, and let's sing our opening song.
Sweet dream. come this day, called by war, by the suffering we inflict and endure, when minds across borders fail to reason and compromise. We come this day, called by loss, the death of those who serve in our name, those whose lives end before their natural course, in service to a cause greater than their own. We come this day, called by hope, hope that we will, in some season, finally surrender our swords for plowshares. And we come this day, called by peace. May we hear its song, may we proclaim its promise. May our remembrance today renew our struggle. We can never stay or rest.
Each week, we bring our joys and sorrows to this community, that our sorrows may be carried with the support of others, and our joys may be magnified. On this Sunday before Memorial Day, there is one great sorrow that we collectively share, the sorrow of those individuals in the armed services who lost their lives in war. Today, we remember them and grieve their loss. We remember those who joined the armed services by choice and those who had no choice. We remember those who fought in wars with just cause and those with no just cause. We remember those who sacrificed their lives for wars they believed in and those who sacrificed their lives for wars they did not. We remember those who have gone missing and were never found. We remember those civilians who have died as collateral damage in wars. We remember the loved ones those lost have left behind. We pray for world leaders that they may make wise choices that prevent wars. We pray for those around the world who are currently suffering the ravages of war. We pray for the peacemakers who strive for the end to many conflicts around the world. We remember. and we pray for peace. Let us hold a moment of silence. So may it be, and amen.
Some of you may recall back when Memorial Day was called Decoration Day. That was the holiday's original name when it was first started, right after the Civil War. Let me paint you a picture of what the first Decoration Day was like. It is May 1st, 1865. You're in Charleston, South Carolina, and thousands of newly freed black people are gathering. As reported in the Washington Post, about 10,000 people, mostly formerly enslaved people, turned out for a memorial service that the freed people had organized, along with abolitionist and journalist James Redpath and some white missionaries and teachers from the North. In the New York Tribune, Redpath described the day as such a procession of friends and mourners as South Carolina or the United States had never saw before. Attendees held a parade and put flowers on the graves of the Union soldiers who had helped liberate them from slavery. It was a remarkable moment in U.S. history, at the nexus of war and peace, destruction and reconstruction, servitude and emancipation. African Americans throughout the nation were hoping this type of commemoration would continue, that it might even become the norm, that the end of the war would be recognized everywhere in America as a day of liberation. What a moment of hope and joy. But that first celebration in Charleston, South Carolina would not be remembered as the first Memorial Day. In fact, in individual towns around the country, women and religious organizations held commemorations. Those in power decided that a war that had cost 600,000 young men and touched virtually every family in the nation required healing across the entire population, north, east, south, and west. Instead of designating and establishing a Liberation Day, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs reports 3 years after the Civil War ended, the head of an organization of Union veterans established Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead with flowers. Major General John A. Logan declared that it should be May 30th. It is believed the date was chosen because flowers would be in bloom all over the country. The first large observance was held that year at Arlington National Cemetery. Various Washington officials, including General and Mrs. Ulysses S. Grant, presided over the ceremonies. After speeches, children from the soldiers and Sailors' Orphan Home and members of the Grand Army of the Republic made their way through the cemetery, strewing flowers on both Union and Confederate graves. It wasn't until after World War I that Decoration Day became Memorial Day and was recognized as a time to honor all those who gave the last full measure of their devotion to our country. In 1915, after Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, an MD, walked along the crosses making the graves of the dead soldiers, that he wrote the classic poem In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Field by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae in 1915. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. After the poem was published, the poppy became the symbol for those who had died in war in the United States and in Europe. And now, I'd like to invite Reverend Judy to come forward.
Since the American Revolution, more than 1.1 million Americans have died in various wars, and today we remember them. And so I am going to invite those who have lost people to war to rise and say the name of your loved one, fallen comrades, grandparents, mothers, fathers, siblings, spouses and partners, mentors and friends, and children. I invite you now to rise and say their names, and Wendy will have a microphone so that our Zoomers can hear you.
My uncle, Second Lieutenant Robert Mann, on about the second week of the Korean War.
My grandpa, who I've never met, James Pardee.
Brother David Cullen Tomlinson, who died in a helicopter in Vietnam. We honor and grieve your loss.
Today, these many years since the first Decoration Day, flowers continue to be a symbol of remembrance, a way of showing our love for those who have passed. It seems we instinctively know and feel that flowers are a sign of hope and healing. In fact, that was why, after the massive devastation produced by World War I, the ceremony we call Flower Communion was created. The ceremony was started by Unitarian minister, the Reverend Norbert Čapek, along with his congregation in Czechoslovakia. The Prague Liberal Religious Fellowship, Reverend Čapek, felt that the traditional Christian communion service of bread and wine wouldn't meet the needs of his congregation because his church, like ours, included many people who believed different things. Čapek was inspired by the beauty of the countryside, the beauty of flowers. And in 1923, he developed the flower ceremony. He asked each of his congregants to bring a flower to church from their gardens, the field, or the roadside. He invited each person to place their flower in a vase. Following the service, each person could take a flower from the vase, a different one from the one they had brought, just as we will do in a little while. Reverend Čapek wrote, "This flower ceremony, lovely though it is, isn't a diversion from ugly reality, but a gentle fierceness, which proclaims that in the midst of sinister days, there is always the light of beauty." After the interlude, we will hear the story of how Norbert Čapek became Unitarian. Imagine there's no heaven,
It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people living for the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.
So, do you know that the annual ritual of flower communion came about because of three young children? Their names were Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora. They were three of Norbert Čapek's children, the man who created the flower communion service. You see, he loved them very much, being a good and loving father, and wanted only good things for them. He had been a Baptist minister, but he decided he did not believe what Baptists believed anymore. Said he believed in the inherent goodness of all people and in a loving God. So he left that church, no longer wanting to be a minister there, but he wanted still to have a church, in particular for Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora. He wanted to know about their own goodness and a loving God. So he went church shopping. That means he visited lots of churches to find one that he liked. After every service, the family would go home for lunch, and the father, Norbert, would quiz Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora about what they learned in their Sunday school classes, and every time he was disappointed. They weren't learning about the goodness of humanity or about a loving God. So the next week, he would try a different church. You see, Norbert believed in religion, even if he did not always believe in their God. He believed that religion could be a place where people of all shapes and sizes, of all beliefs and philosophies, and of all colors and creeds could come together and help create a better world. He believed that we should all search for the truth with our minds and our hearts, so he kept looking. One day, someone mentioned him, "Why don't you try that Unitarian church?" So the next Sunday, he went to the service at the First Unitarian Church of Essex County in New Jersey. And as usual, his children, Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora, went up to their religious education classes. The service seemed pretty good, but that wasn't a big test. Afterwards, he sat his children down and asked them what they had learned. and he was amazed. The church taught their children that they were good and full of promise. Here was a place that spoke of a loving God. If you wanted to believe in God, you did not have to. So the next Sunday, Norbert came back, and he kept coming back. And that's how Norbert, his wife Maha, and their children, Gabrielle, Vladislav, and Shora, became Unitarians. Not long after, Norbert became a Unitarian minister. But Norbert and his family also longed to go home to their native country of Czechoslovakia. So they went there with the help of many other Unitarians, and they built the biggest Unitarian church in the whole country. And it all happened because Norbert loved his children.
You know what? You can go ahead and set them down beside here. I want to thank you for bringing a wealth of flowers today. They are lovely. And I would like to thank our coming of age teens for participating in this service and bringing in the flowers. And you guys can be seated and then we'll start talking. As Emma was saying, it was Zora, his daughter, and his wife Maja, who then brought the flower communion back to the States in 1940. They wanted Chopek's words of unity and diversity, of peace and freedom to live on. These flowers here today represent the diversity that each of us brings, that each of us is unique and special, and together we create something even more beautiful. Our common bouquet would not be the same without the unique addition of each individual flower, and thus it is with our church community. We would not be the same without each other and every one of us. Thus, this service is about our community. And so it is today that each of these flowers, some from gardens, some from fields, some from just outside here, and some from Trader Joe's or the grocery store. They're all beautiful, and each one represents the uniqueness of you. No two are alike, but a beautiful bouquet they make together indeed. Here, your diversity is honored and given voice and freedom. And each year, we Unitarian Universalists celebrate the flower communion, bringing together community, and together we lift up Chopek's vision for a more connected and loving world. We are all brothers and sisters, no matter how different we are. And at the end of the service, you'll be invited to come forward and take the flower out on the way home as a reminder of how blessed that we are to live in this country that allows for freedom of belief, and how important it is to keep that dream of inclusiveness to a welcoming society alive. And with these words, I will bless these flowers today. These flowers we see before us, they come in many shades and colors. They come in many sizes and shapes, and they may carry different scents. Some have no scents at all. Yet all were created by the same miracle, the miracle that these blossoms grow every year. Out of the divine mixing of water, soil, and sunshine, our lives are a miracle as well. Despite our trials and disappointments, people come every year to celebrate the flower communion to be reminded that all of us have value. All of us have a place of beauty in this world, and we come here to be reminded that where you come from is not as important as the fact that you are here now. To be reminded that all are welcome. All may receive at the communion table of this church. Together we become something greater than ourselves. May these flowers be blessed with abundant love.
Spirit, and let's sing our returning song.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all of the funds for our operating budgets, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talents. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. And this month, we are contributing half of our plate to Ray Elementary School. And we have done a lot of work for this community at Ray Elementary. We built a robotics lab, and they are still in need of more support for learning and education us for the future. And we thank you for all that you've given and all that you will give to Ray Elementary. There are multiple ways in which you can support the church and this organization. You can mail a check, you can go to the website, or you can use an app called Venco Mobile. And if you're a roomer, you can use the basket that's going to be coming around in just a few minutes. And the choice is yours. All the information is on our website should you need it. And as always, thank you so much for your generosity.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Gone for husbands, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the husbands gone? Long time passing. Where have all the husbands gone? Long time ago. Where have all the husbands gone? Gone for soldiers, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone?
Gone to graveyards, everyone.
Oh, when will they ever learn?
Oh, when will they ever learn?
Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Gone to flowers, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, every one. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn?
Please join us in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitude for the many gifts that we share.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to invite Sloan back up to extinguish our chalice today.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you, Sloan. And before I start our next piece, I want to say another thanks to our youth for leading this service today. Well done, everyone. So thank you all for joining us this morning. We are a congregation made up of people who believe differently. And yet, when we're together, whether we're in the room or whether we're on Zoom, we make up one loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. If you are a guest or a visitor or someone who has not yet been known to us, I invite you to become part of this beloved community. If you would like to know more about our church, we invite you to stop by the welcome table, which is just outside in the courtyard, and we'll have some goodies there, some information, or you can contact us at hello@ocuc.org, and we will help you get connected. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out. And announcements. My first announcement is to invite a guest up to the pulpit today, and that is Bill, and he is going to speak with us about Camp de Benneville.
It's good to be back here at Orange Coast. It was interesting to be here and fortuitous to be here on the day we're talking about Chapek making his spiritual journey. My spiritual journey to find a spiritual home ended in my mid-30s at Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church, where I found out that I was a Unitarian Universalist and that I didn't have to hate these concepts like God and religion and faith, because I could come and be in community without having to understand where I was on that journey. I did want to talk about a journey for some of us to camp, and I'm up here to invite you to come to camp or to come back to camp. Orange Coast is a member congregation in the UUA, and the Camp de Benneville is a UU affiliated camp. It is not far away. If you've never been to camp before, I would love to tell you more about camp. I'm going to be at the table out there. I want to briefly share with you my family's camp story, which was that I started with my wife going to congregational camp. I think our second congregational camp, my wife was pregnant. And since that time, every one of my children have come up to camp at least once in utero. And all of my children still continue to come to camp. We were ultimately asked to be deans in training and then deans for the elementary winter family camp, which we still do. We are still deans for that camp over President's Day weekend. My family is going to have one or more people at camp for a solid month this summer between counselor in training, elementary, middle, and senior high camps, and family camp. So if you haven't figured it out already, I'm a little bit of a camp enthusiast, and my family loves going as well. Camp has de Benneville has camps of all kinds in all the seasons of the year. UU affiliated camps include camps for youth, young adult, and families. There are also non-UU affiliated camps, a number of them that go on up there, including retreats, focusing around men and women's retreats, yoga, music, and so many more. There's so much to learn about the facilities that you might want to know. You might think this is camp. I don't like to camp. I don't like tents. I don't want to have to cook. You don't have to do any of those things. It's quite a bit like going to a resort with hilly walkways is the best way I could describe it. The website has lots of information about the camp calendar. It has pictures of the camp. It has full details on every one of the camps that's offered, and it also has the registration and payment is available on the website. Financial assistance is available for most camps, including all UU affiliated camps have financial support available. Many of the congregational camps also have scholarships available. I've said a lot, but if you want to know more or want to grab a flyer or want to know why my family is passionate about camp, please come out and see me at the table after the service.
Thank you so much, Bill. So we have a number of announcements today. On Saturday, this coming Saturday, we have a potluck with the Ukrainians. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's 2 weeks. Sorry. I'm living a little ahead of time right now. So June 8th, which in my mind seemed like 1 week, but it is actually 2. So you have lots of time to plan what you're going to bring for our party. And also June 9th is the congregational meeting, and that'll be after the service here in Daniels Hall. And for next Sunday, which actually is next Sunday, it is Gun Violence Awareness Day, and Reverend Sean and Catherine Martin are planning a small but mighty demonstration on the corner of Mesa Verde and Adams, like we've done in the past, and that is to remind people to support the end of gun violence. In support of that day and that action, please wear orange and bring any signs, noisemakers, or just your fabulous attitudes, because that helps for people in cars. Some sign ideas. We have Disarm Hate, We Can End Gun Violence. There are many more suggestions, and if you would like more information about that, please feel free to contact us here, either Catherine or myself or Reverend Sean, and she will let you know a little bit more about that. But that will also be in the blast. And also today will be the conclusion of our in-person discussion group, and it will be me having question box Sunday in the sermon discussion group. We'll be talking about what we talked about last week about how to become a Unitarian Universalist minister. If that appeals to you, please come on in and let's talk. But you can also talk about that anytime with me. So our service is over, but may our service continue. We'll sing Let Us Go Out, but I encourage you to take your time. Oh, yes, we have one more announcement. Ralph is turning 94 today. So before we start all of that, we're going to sing Ralph Happy Birthday before we sing ourselves out.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ralph. Happy birthday to
I was told to remind Ralph to bring his flowers home, and I'm going to do that, sir. Our service is over, but let our service continue. We'll be singing Let Us Go Out today, but I encourage you to take your time because we will be picking up flowers on the way out. And I would like to also say, if you would like us to bring you a flower, raise your hand and we'll bring you one of those right now. So come on up, folks, and you're free to go, but make sure that you take a flower on the way out in honor of our flower communion. And may you have a beautiful, beautiful week.